Hey, welcome to Epic Stage Journeys and Then Some. I'm Gavin. I'll be your host for the day. And this guy that's coming up is, I don't know how to even say it. I've known him probably over for 30 years, probably closer to 40. And I saved his life multiple times. And so without further ado, let's kick this pig, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Eric Love right over there.
What's up, Gavin?
Well, I had to have you on first because you're a storytelling machine, and there's really not any dull stories that come out of you. But however, I do have to ask you about one thing that my wife brought up to me the other day about a job you had, and said that you used to work at a place called La Bear, which was a ladies club, and it was all naked men that danced around. They weren't naked; they wore G-strings and things. But I kept thinking, what was he? Was he like a bouncer, a bartender? What did he sweep up after night? Did he have to get rags to clean up the floor in the dressing rooms? I don't know what you were doing. So what exactly were you doing in this place?
Well, so I worked at a grocery store and I worked at a airline. And remember, this is 1985, graduating high school, 1986, that time. 18 years old, got me an apartment, and boy, I'm going to live life. That was going to be awesome. That first set of bills comes by, and you got about, $9 left. And you're like, fuck, I got to figure out something else. I can work a third job. So this guy had come in the grocery store and he said, "Hey, man, I've got something for you." So it was back when they were on Division in Arlington. Okay. And it later became Chicas Locas.
Oh
So
yeah.
again, 1986 in this
Mhm.
time, 87. And he said, "Man, just come down and wait tables. You'll make great money." Well, guess what? This didn't fail me. Listen, do something fun while you're young because you're going to get old. Okay.
Yep.
You're going to get old. But I'm going to tell you, learn something. I learned a life lesson. I learned that this little unattractive mate, well, I never saw an attractive girl in there. I got to be honest. This unattractive person sitting in a corner had what I have now learned as I got older, a 401k, right?
Oh
They
yeah.
had expendable money. Anyway, it's like giving somebody attention. They'll give you money.
That
So,
they
well,
will.
this is fucking, yeah, this is a fucking great. This is an awesome gig, right? So that led into three people were sick one night and two no showed. And, the manager said, "Look, come on, love. Why don't you give it a shot?" I said, "Dude, I don't want to my thing is I never wanted to get too popular. I'm scared of it. I didn't want to get too
Yeah.
popular, Gavin.
Yeah. I know
Listen,
that would be tough. Yeah. I'm
these
sure.
old women have tender hearts. They have tender hearts, and you can't break them because they're so old. They're just, very, it's like a gelatinous.
Oh,
You gotta be hard. You got to be easy with. They can't take too much. So I said, "Fine, I'll do it for the team." And then I did it, and I made a dick load of money that night. And yeah, I did it for very short amount of time. It's
so
fucking fun. I did it for some weeks.
So did the name Shrinky Dink go over well with you, or was it what was it, Winky Dinky Dog? What was your stage name?
Hang on, there's something coming in on my phone. Hang on. I don't know what that was. Something started doing something on my phone. All right, go ahead.
So when you were at LeBaird, I'm sure you met the Master Blaster,
Randy.
Randy. Everybody that doesn't know Randy, Randy was the Master Blaster. That man he was a namesake in this town. I mean, he danced. I mean, he just retired just a few years back, I think, and good Lord, I mean that dude wore that thing out. That's it.
Literally.
Literally. I mean, I remember that when I worked with them years ago, I was DJing in a place called Cadillac Jacks, and we had on Wednesday night we had ladies' night, and it was ladies only from like 5 until 9, and we'd bring the guys in. We hired Randy, and he brought the dancers in, and I'll tell you what, man, by 9 o'clock when they let the guys in, it was on. I mean,
Oh yeah, you got to get them good and punched up.
I'm telling you, they
Yeah.
were. My God. But my first run-in with Randy, I'll never forget this, is when I had to go upstairs to the dressing room and tell them we were 5 minutes out, because I was emceeing the whole thing. I had one of the other DJs there was playing the music, and I was emceeing the thing, and so I went up to get the guys. I knocked on the door, and the door just whips wide open. There's Randy standing right there, not a stitch of clothes on. And I had to back up because I said, "You're gonna put an eye out with that thing. I swear to God, you just got to
I'm gonna
put."
say, be careful. Where's the caution tape on this guy?
Do something with you. And I just kind of, was like, yeah, we got 5 minutes left, and you guys come on down. But that was fun. We had a good time with them. They were a good bunch of guys. I didn't see
Yeah.
you out there though, so you didn't. I guess you didn't make the cut for that one. So But
Right. Listen, you don't open the door because I want to go for it.
no,
Don't
you're
open the
not. Yeah.
door. Look, I'm telling you, I had to stop because I knew what would happen to me. I would get too popular and these
Yeah.
old women are vulnerable. And I didn't need that on my conscience, man.
Okay, okay, Dirk Diggler, just take it easy there. You're not going anywhere time soon. So that,
Golly. That's
just
a whole
see,
nother lifetime ago.
yeah, oh yeah, there's several lifetimes ago for us, I'm telling you. But okay, so we met in 92, 91 or
Yeah.
92. I think I had just come back from Houston. I lived down there for a year and I came back and we were at I never can remember the name. Oh, it was Rock and
Rock
Rodeo.
and rodeo. At that time of my life, I was a deputy sheriff. I was on the Breaking Hearts tour going across Tarrant County. I was dating everything, all of them. And that's where I encountered you that night. I'm going to tell the story so you don't lie about it.
Please do. Yeah, please
I
do.
walked in the door, me and another deputy, we're slicked up, cologned up, over cologne. Walk in the door and we see this guy just getting the dick kicked out of him. And I said, holy shit, how many people are on that guy? What did that guy do? That's what I initially thought. And there was a lady, she said, oh, that's the manager. And I'm thinking, well, guess what? We're about to be gold in here. So we started I say we, the other deputy was catching. I was the one in the midst. I had a guy bite me on the hand, top
Mhm.
part of my hand. I gave him a piece of El Paso. I didn't have that ring back then, but long story short, we get these three little guys off of the one big guy. And then when you stood up, I said, good to meet you. And you were like, thank you for saving my life. I'm very grateful for it. Thank you very much. And then a blonde-headed lady shows up and imagine this big money bag is Gavin's head. Gavin's head's right between her boobs. Oh, Gavin, it's okay. I said, holy shit. I know that lady. Went to school with her. Now you can pick it up.
That's the biggest bunch of bullshit I've ever heard in my life.
It's true.
Yeah, as you were bleeding, and they called me over and he said, "We got a governor bleeding." I said, "From what?" He got bit, and I said, "Who bites people? I don't get that."
Those
But
guys that were attacking you.
we got you bandaged up. You poor
Thank
little
God for
baby.
Eric. In that moment of your life, I know that you've said this many times, but thank God for Eric Love. I said,
Yeah,
you're
thank
welcome.
God for Eric Lowe. I'm telling you,
That's it.
it was. Yeah, okay. I'll let you have that one. I'll give that to you because then we ran into each other again in '94. Yeah, because That's when we opened Cowboys in Arlington.
I was on that second Breaking Hearts tour at that time.
Yeah, what have you?
I had just went through another divorce. I was a divorced person a lot.
Yeah,
A lot.
how many? How
Four
many?
times.
4 times?
Four. Don't fucking listen. If there's any guys out there, don't give up because I ended up. I didn't know you could buy wigs and stuff back then. I just got tired of the way they looked. Done. Man, don't give up because if you're as fortunate as me, and you know my wife Lisa, I'm the most undeserving person of the relationship I'm in with the woman that I'm in. I literally found my person, and I tell people don't give up. Hopefully, you'll get that opportunity too. So, on a serious note, and like you finally found your person after you went. Man,
No,
you
I'm
went through a
still
lot of
trying.
ugly women.
I'm still trying. What? Ugly?
Don't yeah. You went through
Nope.
so many ugly women, and we felt sorry for you. And then we finally met Tracy. We're like, hell yeah. And that
Yeah.
one girl, she couldn't even talk very good and shit. The one that wrote on the paper, the one that would write stuff on the paper because she couldn't communicate well. I said, what the fuck is he doing? Hey, dating what he's dating.
You are
We
so
only
full of
date the
shit.
level we
No,
can get.
no. Oh my God.
It's true.
I live by the theory. Somebody told me something one day, and they said, when you get married, just make sure she's a hell of a lot less crazier than the one before her. And so the one that I dated before Tracy she was batshit crazy. I mean, she was out there, and I got out of that and
Is
wasn't.
that the one girl that she could look straight ahead with her right eye, but on the baseboard with the left eye?
Yeah, oh yeah,
Because
that's
you
right.
dated that one, and then you dated the one girl that had the lobby boob. She had one real big boob, and then she had like an airbag, a
Yeah.
little small
Oh
one.
yeah, that was that one too. Yeah. No, and
Uh,
then don't forget the hair lip girl that I dated too. That
I
was
can't do
fun.
it. Can't do it.
Yeah, I got lucky. I guess Tracy wasn't as crazy as the one before her. She wasn't even close. So there was no way she's going to even catch up to that thing. And so, I got lucky there. Talking about my wife and you and I wanted to bring up the fact that you destroyed Christmas for us one year, and
Hell yeah. Thank you. You're
I
welcome.
I still see a therapist over this. They tell me that I may never get over this. I can't do Christmas anymore. And it
Well,
was
just
all because
remember, it might be horrible in the moment, but it's a great story 20, 30 years
you
now.
you did this to me. You destroyed Christmas for me. And I'll tell everybody, I owned a bar. back in the HEB area. That's not the grocery store. It's the mid cities up north. And so we would, once we closed at 2 o'clock, we'd clean up, and then we may stay, throw darts, drink a few beer. No, we didn't do that. Yeah, we did. Had a few beers or something and just kind of hang out. So one night Tracy was up there. We were cleaning up.
Hold on.
What?
That bar was like the Titty Bar 2, Titty
It
Bar
was.
Annex. When the Drancers got off
Yes,
down
we
the
did.
street, because you had two live monkeys down the street, they come up and hang out at old Gavin's place.
They did. Yeah, they did stop by every once in a while when that bar would close down. They'd all swing
Once
by
in a
and say hi.
while.
They'd all swing by and say hi once in a while. My future wife was there with them at the time, but we the lights.
No, hang on. Not what now. You were not the most healthy person at that time.
Yeah, well,
Assuming in others.
Oh, no.
So it's not what did we do now? It's like, what are we going to get caught for? There you go, love. Thank you.
Thank you. No, I don't think we got to that point, but it was close. But it was, we're sitting there and we're waiting and we're waiting and we're waiting and the lights are on and we're pulled over and I tell Tracy, I said, "Do you hear something?" And she said, "I don't know." And I said, "Roll down the windows." And so we rolled down the windows. And I remember it was cold that night. It was freezing outside. We rolled the windows down and Christmas music was playing through the PA on the cop car. And I thought, that bastard. I said, I knew exactly who that was. You get out and just laugh, and you just thought that was the funniest thing. And I thought, Christmas will never be the same for me ever again. Just like one night we're all in there throwing darts and the phone rings and I answer it. And it was like, yes, it's Deputy such and such from the Tarrant County Sheriff's Department. And I said, yes. And she said, can you step outside for a minute? And I'm like going, and I turned to everybody. I hung up and I said, yes, ma'am, I'll be out in just a minute. And I turned around to everybody and said, turn off the music, shut up, get rid of the beer. I got to go outside. So everybody scrambles. We get everything straightened up and I go outside and there you are sitting in the, I got a dog that opens doors in this house. I'm going to shoot him. But
No.
So I go outside and you're sitting out there on the hood of your car just laughing. You just thought that was so funny. You gave me more crap.
It kept you with a little bit of supervision.
That it did. And that I could say I owe you big time for. That I could say that you always kept an eye out for us. We were definitely hitting it some days. It got
And you know what?
crazy.
That was really a fun time of our life. Not only for you, but for me. We just had different positions.
Yeah.
But we had a good friendship. We had a really, really great friendship.
Oh yeah, it was great, man. I wouldn't trade it for the world. I mean, the ball breaking that we've done over the years, and it's just it's been crazy. I mean, I can honestly say that this guy right over here you've got Post Malone on speed dial, don't you?
Well, I've known him since he worked at Chicken Express. He's like the worst employee that worked there in Grapevine. And I used to drive through there, and he liked me because I was like a colorful person to him at that level of his life. He's just a kid working, a job, Chicken Express, and going to Grapevine High School. He's a great kid. He turned out to be a great guy. Very talented.
Well, yeah, he's come a long way. I'll give him that. But yeah, you've known him. I mean, you just go out and hunt people down all the time. You still haven't found Jelly Roll yet, have you?
Well, he's losing so much weight. I'm getting him mixed up with some of these fat ladies and men that I run across. I'm like, oh, damn, it ain't him. Well, so one thing I like to do, and that my heart is what you're wearing right now, right? You know that I absolutely loved my dog, Big Juicy. I mean, I loved him so much. I had him trademarked. I don't sell anything. I give it away. It's fucking funny. Best hat manufacturer right there. Tag Custom Products in Cleveland, Texas. Yes.
Yep.
So
we've done a few things for you.
Yeah. So, anytime I'm out cruising, I give those hats out and people are like, how can you give these hats out? Don't they cost money? Well, yeah, they cost money. I'm fucking rich.
You're rich. Yeah.
I don't drink alcohol. That money that I would normally spend on drinks, I'm going to spend on hats. I don't care. I just want to have fun in life. And I think whenever I die, I hope people say, man, that fucking guy right there, he had a good fucking time. That's what I hope they say.
But anyway, that takes care of that. But yeah, it's what you were saying about everything that we've been through, and I mean, my God, we've seen it. I mean,
we've seen a lot of shit, and I know we're not going to talk about a capital murder case that we both have a little bit of knowledge on that you shared, and the ball started rolling. So we're not going to talk about that. Okay,
no,
we're not going to talk about any murders today.
No, let's not.
We're not going to talk about any pictures that got shown to me that someone should be proud of. And I think that person is actually very happy that like Chase said, man, looks like a Budweiser commercial, when in fact it was a picture that you showed me of a Corvette, just so happened to be Tracy modeling in front of it. And so there's two rear ends. And then she's like, oh, Gavin, I can't believe you showed him that. Deep down inside, you know what Tracy's saying? She's saying, oh, I can't
Yeah.
believe this. Everybody's seeing it. I hope
That's awesome.
more people see it.
Oh,
You'll
my
kick your ass. Good. Nothing better than a good ass kicking when you don't expect it. Red on red.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now
So let me tell you
yeah,
how this works,
we gotta-
folks. Let me tell you how it works. Let's say you got a wife, and let's say there's a picture that exists from back in the old days. All of a sudden it pops up. Look, that was the glory days. No different from your football days, your wrestling days, whatever. And let's just say that picture pops up. Dude, you can't get mad at it. That was you. That's fucking awesome.
you can't
Can't get
wrestling.
mad at it.
I can say that you're a big wrestling fan, aren't you?
It's fucking real, man.
I know
I am.
you were down at the sportatorium down there years ago, checking the Von Erichs and all that.
Yep. I'll tell you something about wrestling. Like if you meet a girl, and I've been through so many relationships and marriages, blah, blah, blah. When I met my wife now, I thought, I'm gonna do this different. I'm gonna tell her everything about me. And I told her all kinds of shit. I started off with I love professional wrestling and I believe it's real. And then I just go through a whole litany of things about me. And I'm waiting for her to go, what a fucking weirdo. And then when it was her turn, she said, well, I like Harry Potter. And I thought, man, what a geek. What a geek. But I had like 50 things to her one. And, it's funny. It really, really is. But I love professional wrestling. I go to midget wrestling all the time.
Yeah, I know you do, and I was going to tell you that I've done WrestleMania twice.
Yeah.
And I did it once in Toronto, and the other year we did it in Houston. And Toronto was the day we landed in Toronto for this thing, it was 20 below. And we were coming in, and the pilot came on. He said, we're going to have to divert and we're going to have to go to Detroit. He goes, it's too windy. We can't land. And so it was like we were going to turn and go back to Detroit. And then we made the turn and we're going tooling along. He goes, the wind's kind of dropped down a little bit. We're going to go ahead and try to get in. And I thought, wait a minute, we're going to try or we're going to do it? What are we doing here? So I swear to God, I thought he was going to land that plane sideways because he planed that sucker in and it was nuts. But when we got there and we were standing, we got all the luggage and everything, and told the guys, I said, I'll go pick up the van. You guys wait here and I'll come get you guys. And I walked outside and, I had a coat on and, and all this. And when I walked outside, it felt like I walked out with absolutely no clothes on. That wind blew right through you.
Yeah,
And
it's
I
a
went
whole
back,
different kind of cold up there too,
oh
man.
my God. And I walked back inside and I said, if I'm going, all of you are going, I'm not doing this. And so we did. But the next day, they did this thing at the automotive building on the fairgrounds in Toronto. And the back doors opened up, the dock doors opened up, and you could see the lake from right there. That
It
wind
looks like
blew,
an ocean.
yeah, and that wind blew all day. It was so cold. I was so miserable that whole time I was up there. It was the coldest damn thing. But I got to meet all the wrestlers and even the old guys are there, Sergeant Slaughter and, Jake the
He's
Snake.
dead.
Yeah, it was those guys and of course then all the new guys that were there and The Rock was there and came in and it was nuts. And all I did was I took care of the fan access area and that was my job. And so we had all these different stations and stuff where the wrestlers would come in and meet the people and they did exhibit stuff and it was pretty interesting. But
You know what the difference between doing a wrestling project versus a concert? The girls at a concert, they'll show you their boob to you so they can get backstage, right? The girl at a wrestler, she has to like fold her pocket down, pull her boob out, and show it to you. That's a whole different crowd, man. That's my crowd.
Yeah, that's your crowd right there, no doubt
My crowd,
about that.
man.
That's it. Those are your peeps right there.
Yep.
Oh my God. But yeah, that was kind of interesting. People really take that stuff seriously. And it's just one of those things.
It looks like you're having an autism moment.
So back to wrestling. Yeah, you just take that really too seriously, I think, sometimes.
Well, come over here and say it ain't a sport, might get your ass whipped. Hey, I like to be entertained, man. I don't like something boring.
Well,
I'm not a good person to sit next to at a funeral, and I don't give a fuck whose funeral it is. I'm not a good person to sit next to at a wedding. Someone tell all the problems that they're fixing to have, right? The average couple.
I've seen the
So,
pictures of you and the family go to wrestling. You know, that's pretty interesting. Everybody dresses up like their favorite wrestler, and you guys do it big out there. You really do.
well, so think about this, Gavin. I could all say, hey guys, I've got front row tickets ringside to WrestleMania. Or I could say, if you want to go to WrestleMania, make sure you dress in character. You can have front row ticket. And they never, Gabby is probably my stupidest kid. And I mean that in a very sweet and fatherly way. She dressed up like Hulk Hogan.
I
I'm
don't know.
talking to the T with the mustache. She's a beautiful statuesque daughter, played beach volleyball. We walk in and people are like, Hulk, Hulk. And she would go, it was so freaking funny, man. And, so I just like to have a good time. I like to make it memorable. I don't want to just go sit. I want to go do something.
Yeah, you made a lot of things memorable. I'll tell you that. Especially, we're walking around, we're having issues at the bar or the club, and we're going, hey, where's love? We need some help here. And they would be looking for you, and I just go, where's the van? Where's the van parked? Oh, it's parked out in the corner by Williams Chicken. I said, oh, he'll be back in a little bit. Just give him a few minutes and he'll come back. And you'd show back up with about 3, 4 buckets of chicken and a bunch of stuff. And
You see how that chicken made everything fine? It's amazing.
it
It
did.
was amazing.
It was funny. You'd feed all the security guys. And I mean, boy, everybody was just eating just hearty when you went out there.
Man, I'm telling you, and it was like the one guy called me the Gandhi of chicken. I said, what are you talking about? And he goes, all the problems go away when you bring back the chicken. Everybody quit arguing. Give it to everybody. Who cares? And, they liked it because that was a little bit of a rough area for Williams Chicken. They stayed open late. And they knew if they had a good deputy sheriff cell phone number that was working in the parking lot and would come up occasionally and say hi, they would have no
Working in the
problem.
parking lot. I like that. Working in the parking lot. Okay.
I was working all right, working on relationships. I'm a key holder of relationships. I was back in the day. I was. I used to say, "Don't fight the feeling." Don't fight the feeling. Let's go, man. But you know what? I should have only fought the feeling on one of those. Yeah, probably one of those because I have children with the rest. And man, my kids have been a blessing to me, and they're all fucking fun. They're all successful. And, I kind of bust their chops a little bit, but I literally think that's a part of being a parent to make someone successful. Don't give them anything, make them work for it. And ask my
Make them
kids, I've
do
been
it.
tough on them.
Make them do it. But
Yeah.
they're all good. They're all really good people. And like your son, he's pretty funny. I'm gonna have to email that picture to him someday.
Well, I tell you what we should do. I've got a buddy of mine that owns a sign shop. We could give Tracy a gift. All you got to do is send that picture over to me. I'll take it over to him. We can do a full wall wrap in your garage. Think of how awesome that would be.
Oh yeah, how awesome that'd be. I'd have to listen to that shit every day. Why is that on the wall? I can't believe that's up on the wall. That's just
Well,
disgusting.
I tell guys, I love my wife. Sometimes you got to test that relationship. Let's do this. It won't. As a matter of fact, I'll foot the whole bill for this deal. I'll have him print it, come down and install it. And every time she walks out there to go to work, she can look at the old days. And if she gets mad at the old days, she can only get mad at herself. She took the picture, not us.
I would never
I think
live
it's a
that.
great idea.
I would never live that down. If she is so wrapped up about that picture, I don't know why. And I've told her, I said, it's a great picture. What's the problem? But she just
Gavin,
she hates
there's
it.
no problem. She's enjoying us talking about it right now. She's probably right outside that door going, I hope they're
Probably
talking
is.
about it.
It's probably
It's one of
is.
those
Would
things. It's
surprise me.
okay.
Somebody.
Yeah, you're going to get your ass kicked tonight.
Oh yeah, and then some.
Excellent.
You're real good at helping me with that. So
It's all about helping relationships.
it is. She's been, well, I got to give her credit. She's put up a lot of crap. I'm telling you, here in the last, fucking what, I don't even know how many years it's been now. I got to count. 18 years since I was diagnosed, and she'd been right there the whole time, and you know, just dealing with the stuff, and I got to give that to her. She's been strong and hanging in there because hell, half these women would have packed their shit and been gone a long time ago if that was the case. But
Well, and it comes down to the content of the woman. And Tracy's a great content woman. My wife's a great content woman.
Yep.
We just got to see the cream of the crop of all those ones we were looking at. That's where you saw the crazy ones. You know, the girl that had the fucked up eye looking at the floorboard, the
The
wall. Well, the
Mr.
girl
Bob.
that had the off titties too. The same. It's the other one. You had some really unattractive girlfriends. You're not married to them. Don't defend them now. You didn't defend them then. I
I'm
said,
not
man, what happened to
defending
that
any.
one?
I'm defending myself. What are you talking
No,
about?
dude, they were ugly.
No, man, life's too
Yeah,
short to be that.
man. Listen,
Come on now,
listen.
don't
And
even
then
do that.
Tracy came in and saved your life.
That she did. I will
I
give her.
know she did.
I will give her that.
So why would
You
I
know,
lie about something and then give that great thing up and give that information?
let me tell you how much of a woman she is and how much I love her. We went to jail together one night.
No, that's beautiful.
It was amazing. We had gone, I remember we were moving back into the house or something, and it wasn't ready yet. And so we had moved all our stuff out of the apartment, and so we didn't have any place to stay. And I was talking to my parents, and I said, "Well, we're trying to figure out where we're going to stay. We have to get a hotel or something." They go, "No, no, just come out and stay out of here at the house with us." And I said, "Okay." So, well, with my dad in a wheelchair and everything, everything was real different. And so they had this huge motorhome. And she goes, "Why don't y'all just camp out in the motorhome?" Plugged in. It's everything's fine. I was like, okay, we can do that. We're out there one night. We were just doing nothing. We decided we were just going to go see a movie. No big deal. We weren't out. Now we're done partying. Let's just go to a movie, just hang out. And we did. And we went to saw a movie. I don't remember what it was, but we were coming home and we got pulled over. We got stopped by a police officer with the city of Little Elm. Now this is back in.
Yeah, it's blown up since. Yeah. What an irresponsible person.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I will agree with you 100% on that one.
Yeah.
And I looked at her and she goes, "You know what? I don't think I paid my tickets either." So we were both responsible individuals.
He's in a pod.
Yep. And the officer comes back. He hands me the ticket. He goes, "I just need to sign it. Not a mission of guilt, yada, yada, the whole thing and everything." And I said, "Okay," signed it, handed it back. He goes, "Okay, here's your copy." And I'm thinking, all right, we're good.
I'm free.
As he hands me the copy, I say, "Thank you." And he goes, "Now I need you to step out of the car, please." And I went, "Absolutely. I am screwed." And as I'm getting out, I'm telling Tracy, and as another car pulls up behind him.
Oh, you're double fucked.
Yep. And that officer gets out and goes over to Tracy's side and starts talking to her. And I told her, I said, "Whatever you do, give me a name, different name. Just do whatever you can to get out of this." So I get put in the back of the police car and I'm sitting back there. And next thing I know, here comes Tracy in handcuffs, bawling her eyes out, put her in the back seat with me. And I'm sitting there going, don't cry. It's not, they're not going to we're not going to get hurt or anything. We're going to be fine. We'll get out.
Like she's going to prison for life.
She did. And it was nuts. So we're getting the car and we take off. And I asked the officer, "Officer," I said, "where is the Little Elm jail?" And he goes, "We don't have a jail."
County.
And I said, "So we're going to county, aren't we?" And he goes, "Yeah, we're going to go to county." So we went to Denton County.
Beautiful.
Oh my God. And I'd never even experienced jail before in my life. I didn't know jack about it. So I'm just asking questions and everything. And everybody's pretty nice and answering questions. And I said, "So where do I go from here?" And he points over and he goes, "Oh, there's a holding cell right over. You'll see the windows." And there were plexiglass windows. And I look over there and there's not a soul in there. And I'm thinking, well, I'll just go in there and sit around by myself and just while away the time until we figure this out. So we go over there, they get me all processed in. They go over and he slings the door open. There's about 400 people sleeping on the floor in there.
Yeah, it looks like Jonestown.
And I'm like going, what in the hell? And so I'm looking for some place to go and I'm stepping over people. Not that, step on anybody. I was just trying to be real quiet, step over people. I ended up sitting over next to the toilet against the wall because there was no place else to sit. And then about 30 minutes later, they brought another guy in. He was jacked to the hilt and he sat right next to me and he just the whole night. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to die. So we stayed up all night, did all that. But once we got out of that, we had to go before the judge later on. So we had to go see the judge. We had our appointment. We went in there. And so he called us and we were standing and he goes, "You're Gavin?" I said, "Yes, sir." And he goes, "This is Tracy." And yes. And he goes, "Okay." And so he went through everything and he said, "Well, they cash bonded me out for some weird reason, but they charged me like $4,000 for just these two big tickets." And so I got that money back. They gave that back to us. And then they deferred Tracy's and he said, "Now, I want both of y'all to stand up and face me." And we stood up and we're standing there and he looked and he goes, "You two do not belong together." He goes, "I suggest you go your separate ways." And he goes, "Now get out of my courtroom." And I said,
"When's the wedding?"
And exactly. And I married her. I swear to God, People talk about, relationship and how hard it is. I said, "You don't know the crap that I've been through with that woman. It has been nuts." And I think maybe the day that I would tell you about the day I met her, but I may say that for a different time, though. That was an interesting one. Nah, screw it. I'll tell you it anyway. Why not? We had a friend that owned a bar down in Deep Ellum, downtown Dallas. And at night, when we would all close the bars up, we would go down to his place and he would lock us all in and we would sit there and drink all night.
But
No, no, it's not. No, he had after hours. He had after hours club permits. So that was all legal.
drinking after 2 in any licensed establishment is illegal. But go ahead with your story. I appreciate this. You're going to school me on the law. Okay, go
Oh,
ahead.
hey, why not? And I'm sitting at the bar, and this guy comes up, long hair, and he's a rocker. He's a total rocker, and he struck up a conversation. Hey, what's your name? And I told him, I said, yeah, my name's Gavin. He goes, I've heard that name before. I said, so come to find out, his name was Kirk. Come to find out, we kind of ran in the same circles, but we didn't really know each other. And he was a guitar player and in bands and stuff, and he goes, so we're just kind of, shooting the shit and everything. And he goes, oh, hey, I got to introduce you to my girlfriend. And I said, okay. And so we go into this other room and there's these two high back chairs, but they're facing us. And so I can't see who's in them. So we go around the chairs and he goes, hey, babe, this is Gavin. Gavin, this is Tracy. And there's my future wife passed out, drooling on herself. And I said,
One's
hey,
away.
I said, how you doing? I said, don't get up. I got it. We're perfect. And so we went back. And as I'm heading back to the bar, I'm saying in the back of my mind, I said, I'm going to marry that woman someday. Not because I just thought, and I
Something
thought,
about that drool.
it was something about the drool, and it was so ironic because then all of a sudden they started showing up in my bar all of a sudden, her and her boyfriend, and she was a flirt. She was a flirt with everybody. She still is to this day, and oh, she just flirted with me, and he hated it with a passion. And I remember the lady that was helping me manage the place. Her name was Barbara. Oh my God, Barbara, love her to death. But she told me, "You stay away from her. She's nothing but trouble. She is
I think we
trouble."
should invite them on podcast number 2 and 3.
Yeah, I've got Barb coming on. I don't know when yet, but I'm gonna bring Barb on because God,
Yeah.
she went through the ringer. She held that place together for me because I mean it was going nuts for me. But with that bar, it was amazing. There was a band called Bigfoot Johnson that I had play in my bar, and if people don't know there was a bar out. I mean, there was a band out there, and it was a band called Point Blank, and everybody pretty much knows who Point Blank is. They opened for, they were always out there on the Ham tours and stuff, and it was Rusty Burns, John O'Daniel, Buzzy Gruen on drums, and all the other guys. Well, when that happened, what they had since broken up years ago, and they formed a band, and it was Rusty, it was Buzzy, and it was John, and they called it Bigfoot Johnson. And they had a guy named Chris Gibson that was a bass player. The guy was a phenomenal player. And Chris got in a really bad accident one time. And so Rusty comes by the bar one day, and they were scheduled to play that the next weekend. He goes, hey, I don't think Chris is going to make it. You want to cancel it? I can find a replacement. And I said, you know what, dude, I trust you. You can just bring a replacement in and it won't be an issue. I don't think so. And so I get there the day that they're there setting up. And it was that afternoon. And I walk in and Rusty's there getting everything. And he goes, hey, come here. I want you to meet the fill-in bass player. And I said, okay. And I walked over, and there was a very tall black gentleman, very nicely dressed and everything. And he goes, Gavin, this is Chuck. Chuck, this is Gavin. And I stopped, and I froze in my tracks. And I looked at Rusty, and he kind of looked at me, and I said, you do know that's Chuck Rainey, right? And he goes, yeah. And I said, the Chuck Rainey that recorded an Asia album with Steely Dan, and he's played with Aretha Franklin. He's probably one of the most
A big
recorded bass
deal.
players out there. It was. And he lived in the mid cities up there, and Rusty just called him, and Chuck said, "Oh yeah, I'll come down and do it." And I mean, I was like, I couldn't speak for a while. It was phenomenal. But the people that just came in and out of that place was amazing. Uh, I was out doing a jam one night, blues jam, and a friend of mine's band was hosting, and so he hollered at me. He played the drums. He hollered at me. He goes, "Come up and fill in for me." He goes, "I'm going to take a break." And so I said, "Okay." And so I did, and we got done, and I went down and sat down at the table with him. He goes, "Hey, I got a friend I want you to meet." And take me over to this table, and there was this gentleman sitting over there, heavy set guy. And he's sitting over, and he goes, "Gavin, this is Buddy." He said, "Buddy, this is Gavin." And it was one of those things where you stop in your track again, and you go. And I told him, I said, "Doug," I said, "you do know that's Buddy Miles, right?" He said, "Yeah, yeah." Buddy Miles had played, with Jimi Hendrix and all that. And you go,
So,
"Oh, yeah, 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 yeah." And, he lived in the mid-cities. And so I just said, "Hey, Mr. Buddy Pleasure, any constructive criticism you got for me, I'll take." And his big thing was just stay on the beat. Don't go anywhere. You just gotta stay on the beat.
yep.
So, it was amazing all the people that I ran into doing that stuff. And, I got to, play with, and it was all the guys from Bigfoot Johnson were hosting it. So I got called up to play and I got up there. And so Rusty goes, "Well, I'm gonna get down." Well, Buddy Whittington, who's played with Taj Mahal and, all these other people, he
Yeah.
gets up there and I'm thinking, and all of a sudden I start feeling this flutter. And so I'm sitting there and I'm talking to Rex Loney, who was playing keyboards, who played with Toby for years, and he was up there and we were talking, and Chuck Rainey gets up there. And I got up and I said, "Nope, I'm out." And it was funny because he looked over at me and he said, "Sit back down." And I'm like,
Why did you not want to do it?
"Dude, because I was in it was so intimidating. It really was. They were the nicest guys. Buddy was a sweetheart. Chuck Rainey was just a pleasure to be around.
Did you feel
But it
like
was
you
just
were playing outside of your skill set? Or
way outside of my skill set. I mean, miles outside of it. And I started getting it. Rex goes, "Nope, nope, nope, nope. You sit back down. You're not going anywhere." And I said, he goes, "The worst that can happen is they're going to leave your dick in the dirt." He goes, "So just hang on and enjoy the ride." And we did it, but it was just amazing that, the things that I walked into all the time. And, you don't expect it. And I mean, I've got stuff on the walls in here just from people that I've just run across or I've worked with over the years. It's just like, being a Cowboys, all the people we worked with there for years
yeah.
and years and years. But you remember back in the 90s when kind of the rock and roll kind of went to shit and country became the big thing,
Oh yeah.
and and so, we kinda had to jump. We kinda had to jump ship and change tunes because we had to figure the country thing out because there wasn't any dance clubs or anything going on at that time. But that one in Arlington, that was a good one. Whole
And you know what's
lot of
funny
people.
about that one? From every walk of life, someone came in there. And what I mean by that is we had professional athletes, we had musicians, we had comedians, we had elected officials, we had very unattractive people, very attractive people, rich, poor, middle of the road. It was a great venue and everybody loved it. It's like everything else. It had its time. It
Yep.
served its purpose, had its time. Times change. But man, we had a great time there. We really had a lot of good memories.
It was a blast. It really was. And it was a lot of damn work, but it was really fun. And, from I'm just kinda looking at the walls with all the pictures and stuff that, all the people we got to work with. And of course, I'll always say my favorite's always been Charlie Daniels, always will be. He was just the sweetest individual, and there was just nothing different about him. There was nothing
Good, genuine person.
he really was. And, when he came in, I would go out and get him out the bus and, I'd go up and knock on the door and he'd say, "Hey, Gavin, come on in." And I'd go in and he goes, "Let me get you some coffee." And I said, "No, I don't do coffee." He goes, "I'll get some water." And then we just sit down and it would just be he and I just sitting in the bus talking. And then I'd look at my watch. I said, "Well, we're getting close." He goes, "Well, let's go walk on in." And I'd never seen anything like it. He was getting on in years. And, we would walk in and it would just take us a little while because he just kind of shuffled. He didn't really, wasn't in a big hurry or anything. But as soon as I got him up on stage and they strapped a guitar on him, he was like he became a
Showtime.
21-year-old. Yeah, became a 21-year-old and never seen anything like it. And then when he was done, we'd walk back to the bus and say bye and he was gone.
It's
But
like a
he was
light switch on when it's showtime,
Yep,
light switch off when it's not.
very much so.
Yeah.
And he was just an amazing person. He was nice. He was just pleasant to be around. He was nice to people. And then, we had boatloads that just weren't worth a damn, but, you just got to take the bad with the good sometime. But I'm trying to think of ones I didn't really care much for.
I can tell you one. I still don't like her music, and I'm just going to say it. She played out there, Trisha Yearwood. I always thought she was basic.
Right.
Well, I don't care. I like her music, and she's basic. I'll never forget. I was the sheriff that worked the back door. All the entertainer guys interface with them, whatever. And her manager said, "Well, he requires $25,000 prepayment," and y'all already knew that. But boy, we were trying to get the money from the doors, the beer troughs, because we had to have all the cash before she would set foot on the stage. And I think we're about 9,000 short. at this particular moment, and we're still a couple of hours, 2 hours or an hour and a half out from it. We're definitely going to have the money. And then that owner showed up, and he pulled out the rest, and she took the stage, and I just thought her whole career. Now she's an old person now, like me. I'm an old person, but her whole career. That's what I always think about, and I just thought she was a basic. I don't know how she made it. I'm not taking away from her talent, but I didn't think she was very good interpersonal with. I watched her talk to some people, and I thought, no, I'm good. And I didn't think she was. I didn't think she was a very attractive person. I thought she was a little pudgy.
That's
I don't
terrible.
know
You're gonna treat you
why
like
she'd say
that.
that.
Shame on you.
I know
No,
how terrible. Now,
yeah, we didn't
me-
have a lot. We didn't have a lot of female singers at that time. We didn't have.
no,
She was one of them, and there was a couple others, but I don't think we had a whole lot. Now
and you know
that
what? Everybody, I don't know one person that says I don't like Dolly Parton, right? Everybody loves Dolly Parton. Everybody loves Dolly Parton.
the
There's
sweetheart.
not many artists that are like that. And I remember when Shania Twain came on the scene, they played the Mercury Triple Play at Billy Bob's. I still got my ticket stub. It was called the Mercury Triple Play. It was Shania Twain, it was Toby Keith, and who's that little short Australian looking guy married to a real tall blonde chick that's an actress? He's real famous country singer.
Oh,
Got the same fucking haircut that he had back then. He's got to grow out of it or something. It doesn't look right. It's fucked up, is what it is.
not like
Anyway,
that fine head here or there. I'm telling you.
so here's what's crazy. The person that went to the concert with me were sitting there, and the first person out of the box was the Australian guy, Keith Urban.
Mm.
He came out, he sang 3 songs. I said, I don't even like the guy's haircut. I'm a very, I'm a shallow person. I am the definition of a shallow person. I said, look at his fucking hair. He sang 3 songs. They sucked. I didn't like it. Okay. He goes back. The next person coming out was Shania Twain. She sang 3 songs. She sucked. She wasn't dressed. She was wearing like an old maid dress before she got pretty. Okay. Or whatever you call it when they cut so that was before she was with Mutt Lang. That's it. Before she was with Mutt
Yeah.
Lang, she
Before
went on
much.
the Mercury Triple Play, and she sucked. Well, then here comes Toby Keith, and his first song, when the light hit him, he was fucking all in white hat. He sang "Should Have Been a Cowboy," and as soon as he started, I looked over and I said, "This motherfucker's going to be a star," and he
Yep.
was. And
He
then
was.
we got to meet him at Cowboys.
God, we worked. I don't know how many times we worked with him. He was fun. He was always a good guy. And a lot of the guys, I felt bad for some of my friends that were on tour with him. Some of those guys have been out with him for 20 plus years. And, when Toby left, it was, here's to you, Toby. But, it was,
I think an artist like him, yeah, he did more. What do they call that? Like the old, what's his name used to do it? Him something. Bob Hope. Do
yeah,
the USO
yeah,
tours.
the
Toby
USO
Keith
tours. Yep. Toby did
did
all of
more
that.
USO tours than anyone.
That he did.
And I really think a lot of, I always thought a lot of him anyway. And, there was never he never did anything horrible, where it made the news. And like, it was just someone that you could really enjoy their talent, their music, and you didn't have to try to defend them for doing something else. Man, let me tell you something. When they found him butt naked up there in Denton County, I just wanted to go call him and say, look, I can fix you. And what I mean by that is you got to have somebody in your life that can say no. Okay. You might have all the money, but you got to have a gatekeeper sometimes when you get to that level.
Yeah.
Okay. I think about people that hit it, get up, and then they have a shit ton of problems. Well, that's what I did in the private security world, and that was the one really strong point, because I don't give a fuck who you are. A different entity is paying me to make sure you have no problems. And you might have 30 girls that are fixing to come in here, but there won't be one cell phone, so there's no evidence, right? Yeah, and that's one of the hardest things, is protecting someone, because it takes one video that can be taken out of context or place or jeopardize, whatever you have going on. And like I worked with some very, very wealthy people, from Richard Branson being at his private island. I mean, when you start talking about number one, two, and three richest people on the globe, I've done work for them, and getting to be a part of that world, it's unreal. And me and you have talked about how important it is to covet phone numbers in your phone or relationships. There's somebody that might say, man, I'll give you 1,000. I had one time somebody say, I'll give you $1,000 for that phone number. I don't need the money. That doesn't work like that. They want to be able to reach out to the person. Absolutely not.
Yeah, those are the
It's
numbers you
weird.
don't want to give out. Well,
I'll
that's
give them
been.
your phone number for free. Matter of fact, let me tell you
I
what
know you
Gavin's
do.
cell number is.
Christ. Let me block. Let me just black you out now and just
Yeah,
check
do
with
it.
everybody.
Do it.
But what else we got? My God, we've been talking for a while.
Yeah, so we're
We
not
can talk.
talking about murders. We're not talking about murders. No more. We're not going to talk about that picture. No more.
You're not gonna let the murder thing go, are you? You're just gonna you're
Nah.
just gonna carry
Well,
that
you
one
know what?
around.
At some point, maybe we dive into a high level overview of it. It's not something that anybody, you, I did, nothing, but you had culpable knowledge. I was a cop. At the end of the day, it is what it is. Maybe something will happen on that at some point. You know, who knows?
How long's it been now? Jesus, 40
Long time.
years? It's
Yeah,
been a
long
long
time.
time.
Yep.
If it happens, it happens. If not, oh well.
Yep.
I'm still here. I can still hide, so I can go into hiding if I have to.
Well, we'll probably need to get to another good interview from you before you get too much older, so you forget about stuff. Trust me.
I'm doing that now. Trust me. I'm forgetting about stuff all the time. So
I know.
I hear that more than once. I told you 3 times already. So that's how it
Yeah.
goes. It's one of those
I know
things.
sometimes my wife will say something to me and I can't fucking hear. That's why I got these in today. I can't fucking hear. And I'll say yes. And she's like, no, that was a statement. It wasn't a question. I'm just trying to engage, right? Like,
You're
shit, I
old.
thought she asked me a question I didn't hear. And it's just it's probably more annoying for them really than it is the recipient trying to hear it. It's annoying to them. So
I know. Trust me. She's putting up with me now, and it's pretty nuts. And we're coming to the stopping point. Yeah, it's already been that long. Wow. And you know what? We haven't told. Well, I don't think we've told a tenth of the shit that we know and what we've been through. So we're gonna have to revisit again because we got a lot of stuff we've still got to talk about. Um, I've got to do something real quick here if I can find it because I said that you can't go anywhere. I had it set up too, with really stupid. I don't know where it went. I'm gonna put it up anyway.
let's say it.
There he is, right there, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Big Juicy, Fort Worth famous Big Juicy, right there.
That's
You
my
know,
guy, man. I love that guy
tell
so
you what,
much.
here's to the juice box, man. We miss him. He's been gone for a while, but he never leaves, so he's always going to be with us in spirit.
That's my guy, man.
He's the main man. So, Eric, it's been fun, man. It's always fun talking to you. We're going to do this again because I know that we can dig up so much more stuff than what we even talked about. We're
Well,
not
I think
close.
we need to do one whole segment just on I could probably find it in my notes rating all these girls that you dated because we only had to go to 1 to 4, and never nothing. And then Tracy comes in, you get a 10. So how did the guy pull a 10 when he's knocking out fours all day long and twos?
Just knocking
It's
out twos and
amazing.
fours, just left and right. Yeah, that's me.
Yeah, I'm
Mr.
glad
Two
she
and
saved your
Four.
life, man. Lisa
Oh
saved
yeah, me
mine.
too.
We're
Yep.
all redeemable.
Yes, we are. We certainly have earned that. I'll tell you, we've had to work that one pretty hard.
Yep.
Oh my God. But it has been fun, brother. It's always a pleasure talking to you. I'm honored to have you as a friend. I love you. We've been through hell and back and you've always had my back and I really do appreciate it as
Absolutely.
always.
You know, I love you. And at the end of the day, we're going to do this hopefully another 40 years. Oh, no, it would be 100 and something. That'd be sucky.
Oh
Fuck
yeah.
that. Let's
No,
do it
you'll
for a
be
little
100
couple
something.
more.
I
Have
won't
some
be.
fun.
Yeah, we can do a couple more for sure. We can do that.
Sounds good.
All right. Everybody, once again, that is Eric Love. And I'd say he's a very dear friend of mine. Eric, it's a pleasure having you on. You take care of yourself. Give Lisa a big hug for us, and we'll talk to you soon.
I'm going to send Tracy a text and tell her we talked about that picture. That way you'll have a
Oh,
good afternoon. I love
yeah,
you,
please
man.
do. All right, brother. You take care.